I never believed in fairies. Not in the way children do, at least. But one evening, I saw something I couldn't explain. It started with a mirror, an antique thing I found at a dusty little shop downtown. The frame was silver, etched with swirling patterns that seemed to shift when I wasn't looking. The shopkeeper, an old man with piercing blue eyes, practically begged me not to buy it. "You don't want that," he said, his voice shaking. "That mirror doesn't show what's real." But I was drawn to it. Something about its surface was different. When I looked into it, my reflection felt too sharp, too vivid, like it was studying me rather than reflecting. Still, I ignored the old man's warning and took it home. That night, as I got ready for bed, I caught something in the mirror. My reflection blinked half a second too late. My heart pounded. I laughed it off, blaming exhaustion, but deep down, something felt off. The next morning, I stood before the mirror again, brushing my hair. That's when I saw it. The reflection of my lips moved before I even spoke. My stomach dropped. I waved my hand. The reflection waved back, but when I turned to grab my phone, I saw it, still watching. Eyes locked onto mine, a faint, unsettling smile curling at the edges of its lips. I stumbled backward. The reflection copied me perfectly. But I knew what I saw. For one fraction of a second, it wasn't in sync. Something was wrong with that mirror. I moved the mirror out of my bedroom, dragging it into the hallway, but it didn't help. Every time I passed it, I swore I saw something shift, a flicker, a movement, the barest hesitation in my reflection. Then came the whispers. At first, they were faint, like distant voices seeping through the walls. But soon, they grew clearer. A woman's voice, soft and melodic, whispering my name. It started happening at night. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, feeling like someone was watching me. My skin prickled with the sensation of invisible eyes crawling over my face. And the whispers, always coming from the mirror. One night, I finally gathered the courage to confront it. I grabbed a blanket, ready to throw it over the glass, but the moment I got close, the whispering stopped. Instead, something else happened. My reflection smiled. Not a normal smile. A slow, creeping grin that didn't reach my own lips. It was like the person in the mirror was happy to see me. Then, she spoke. "You're perfect," I screamed. The next morning, I called my best friend, Jake, and begged him to come over. When he arrived, I told him everything. The mirror, the whispers, the reflection acting on its own. He laughed at first. "You probably just need sleep," he said. "Or maybe it's an old trick mirror." But then he looked into it. And froze. His face went pale. His breathing grew shallow. "What the hell?" he whispered. "What?" I asked, my voice shaking. He turned to me, his hands trembling. "Your reflection, it's not right." The eyes. Before he could finish, a loud crack split the air. The mirror's surface rippled, like water disturbed by a stone. And then she stepped through. She looked exactly like me. Same hair, same eyes, same skin. But there was something off. Her features were too delicate, too perfect. And her eyes shimmered with an unnatural glow. She wasn't human. "I've waited so long," she whispered. Then she reached out and touched my face. Pain exploded through my body. It was like fire and ice were tearing through my skin. My vision blurred, my knees buckled, and I felt something being pulled from me. I was losing me. When I woke up, I was on the floor. The mirror was gone. Jake was gone. And when I stumbled to my feet and looked around, I saw something that made my blood turn to ice. My reflection was missing. I ran to the bathroom, to every mirror in my house. Nothing. No reflection. Just an empty space where my face should be. Panic surged through me. I grabbed my phone, turned on the front camera. Nothing. I was invisible, like I didn't exist. Then the whispers returned. Only this time, they weren't coming from the mirror. They were inside my head. "She has your face now," they murmured. "And soon, you'll be nothing." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My voice was fading. My very existence was unraveling. Then I saw her, through the window, standing in the street. She was wearing my clothes. My body, my face. She saw me, and smiled. I had no choice. I had to get my face back. I followed her through the city, weaving through crowds of people who didn't even glance at me. It was like I was a ghost. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears as I trailed behind the thing that had stolen my identity. She stopped at a small park, standing beneath an old, twisted tree. I crept closer, my fists clenched. "You shouldn't be here," she said without turning around. Give it back, I snarled. My face, my voice, my life. She turned, her glowing eyes narrowing. You don't understand, do you? She raised a hand, and suddenly, the air shimmered. The world around us twisted like a reflection in water. And then I saw it. The truth. She wasn't just a reflection. She was a fairy, a creature from the other side of the mirror. A being that needed a human vessel to exist in this world. You were my mirror, she said. A perfect copy. But you don't need to exist anymore. She lunged at me. I dodged, grabbing a shard of glass from the ground, one of the mirror's broken pieces. Without thinking, I drove it into her chest. A horrible, inhuman shriek tore through the air. Her body convulsed, her skin cracking like porcelain. Then, she shattered, and just like that, everything snapped back into place. I gasped, stumbling back. I looked around. The park was normal. The people were normal. And when I glanced at my reflection in a nearby puddle, I was me again. The whispers were gone. The mirror was gone. But I'll never forget what I saw. Because somewhere, in some dark corner of the world, I know there are other mirrors. Other reflections waiting for their chance. And maybe, just maybe, they're watching you right now.